Well, now we're going to carry on here a little bit with our discussion on sharpening, which is a topic that's just fraught with so much tension and so much insecurity. But you must always remember that the point of sharpening is to work wood. We're going to work wood. You know what this is? Broad axe. It's actually a very finely tuned finishing tool. You don't use this axe for chopping down trees. You don't use it for fighting off Vikings. This is a tool for squaring up timbers from whole trees. I'll show you some odd things about this tool. First, it's got a big wide blade. But you see, it's not like an axe. It doesn't come to a single point. It's not for splitting wood. It's for shaving wood. And what it means is the back is almost flat. Not quite, but almost. And then the blade on this side, on the outside, is quite rounded. It's a big version of our pocket knife. Now, you get a log and you want to square it, don't use your pocket knife. Use a side axe. And they have to be sharpened right. Well, I don't really square up too many timbers. Thank goodness I wouldn't have many friends. They don't want to see me running around with an axe like this. But I have the junior version of the broad axe. Notice the similarities in the curvature, similarities in the overall shape. They're sharpened alike and they're used alike. I'm going to set this baby down and introduce you to my little side hatchet. Side hatchet is a kind of finishing tool in its own right. In green woodworking, I use it before I use a draw knife. And you should have figured out from just the use I'm putting it to how it works. Fairly flat, but just enough of a curve so it will bite. More curve on the top to kick the shaving away. And again, you don't need to be doing green woodworking to find the value of this tool. Again, here's our little strip of wood I'm salvaging. Now, I'm just going to go to my little bench. It's ready for a plane. That's so much quicker than taking a saw and whipping it, or taking a rough plane and going over it a dozen passes, whatever the case is. Again, if you find such a tool, buy it. It is so useful, not just for green woodworking, but for any kind of woodworking. And one thing you may have noticed is the handles are a little offset. That's to give you some clearance on a flatter surface. And if you're right-handed or left-handed, well, you just change the handle. Put it in from one end or the other, and you've got the tool. But again, this is a tool that's sharpened rather like a knife, like a draw knife, like a pocket knife, except that instead of running the stone over the tool as we did with the draw knife, we're going to get something a little closer to how we handle stones and tools when we do chisels and plane blades. So let me set up here just for a bit. Now, all I have here is just a little holder to hold my sharpening stones. I have so many sharpening stones and they're all different sizes that I made a little holder, and it's just held in with a little wedge, and it will work for almost any size of stone. See, we're going to sharpen this tool. Now, first thing, we'll Sharpen the bottom. To start with, I'll just press the metal down to the stone, just to clean it up a bit. But toward the end, we're going to lift the back just so slightly, just enough so you can see the oil squeeze out. You just kind of go freehand. And again, this is not quite flat this way either. It's got just a very slight belly to it. So you'll have to acknowledge that as you handle the tool on the stone. Now, I don't know if you can pick the reflection up or not, but you can see it polishes up on that fine stone. When it comes to the other side, you can see the angle's slightly different, isn't it? It's not so flat. It's going to be rather more pronounced. So that's a question of just getting your, registering it by feel. Back to the back side a little bit. Test the edge gently. See if it just catches your fingernail. Don't try shaving your arm, okay? People have hurt themselves that way. Just see if it'll just barely catch when it's fairly flat. Then it's sharp. Now, what angle did I sharpen that to? Never measured them. But it's sharpened to use. It's sharpened to do the job I need it to do. It's sharpened rather like a pocket knife, rather like a draw knife. Only a little bit steeper on the outside angle because it's a striking tool. You don't want it too fine an angle or it might break. Once you start using these tools, well, you'll find a million uses for them. And you won't want to be without one. So get one and sharpen it up. Talk to you next time.